Act 24. One sentence frightened Jia Baoyu. Time: the 14th spring of the Red Chamber. Location: Xiaoxiang Pavilion, Ehome Courtyard, Grand View Garden. Character: Jia Baoyu, Lin Dayu, Zijuan, Xueyan, Qingwen, Jia Mother, and several others. Character profile card. Name: Zijuan. Gender: female. Nickname: Parrot Guy. Occupation: Lin Dayu's senior servant. Personality: selfless, courageous, wise, sincere. On that day, when Baoyu went to see Dayu, she had just finished her afternoon nap. Baoyu didn't want to disturb her, so he asked her maid Zijuan, who was sewing in the corridor, "Did Cousin Lin's cough get better last night?" Zijuan nodded and said, "Much better." Baoyu breathed a sigh of relief. "Ba, I hope she can get better soon." Zijuan laughed and said, "You are also bringing up Buddhism. How interesting." Baoyu sighed. "I am like a desperate patient seeking help from a quack doctor." As he spoke, he reached out and touched the thin cotton jacket made of purple satin that Zijuan was wearing and said, "You are dressed so lightly and sitting in a draft. What if you get sick?" Zijuan glanced at Baoyu and said, "We must speak with propriety. Don't be too handsy or physical. It wouldn't be good if others saw and gossiped about it. Lin Girl often instructs us not to joke around with you." With that, she tidied up the needle and thread and went into the house. After hearing that, Baoyu's heart suddenly felt like it had been poured with a pot of cold water, cool to the core. He stared blankly at the bamboo forest, feeling lost and dazed, and unconsciously tears fell from his eyes. At this time, the maid Xueyan happened to come from Mrs. Wang to get ginseng and saw Baoyu sitting on a rock in a daze, so she came to ask him. Baoyu said, "Aren't you a girl? Why are you coming to me? Since she doesn't want you to talk to me, you still come to talk to me. If someone sees us, there will be gossip." When Xueyan heard this, she thought that he and Dayu had another disagreement, so she didn't ask much. Back in the room, Xueyan told Zijuan about this matter, and Zijuan quickly put down her needle and thread to go look for Baoyu. Zijuan helplessly said to Baoyu, "I was just thinking for everyone's sake, but you got angry and ran here to cry. What if you get sick? Then what will we do?" Baoyu smiled and said, "Where did you get angry? I think what you said makes sense. I'm afraid others will think the same way in the future, and no one will pay attention to me. When I think about this, I feel sad." Zijuan sat down next to Baoyu, who laughed and said, "Just now you were avoiding talking to me, and now you are sitting next to me?" Saying that, both of them couldn't help but laugh. Zijuan said that these days Lady Wang sends people daily to deliver birds' nests to Dayu. Baoyu hurriedly took credit, saying that it was his idea. Zijuan deliberately tested him. "If you get used to eating this here, when you go back home next year, where will you find the spare money to eat this?" Baoyu was surprised and asked, "Who wants to go home?" Zijuan said, "Of course it's Miss Lin who has returned to Suzhou." Baoyu said, "You are talking nonsense again. Both my aunt and uncle have passed away. Who can the young lady go back to find?" Zijuan sneered, "You're underestimating people too much. Your Jia family is prosperous with a large population. Does every other family except yours only have one father and one mother, with no one else to rely on? Our girl came here because the old lady felt sorry for her being young, and her uncles and aunts didn't take good care of her. When she grows older and it's time for her to get married, she will naturally be sent back to the Lin family. You can't let the daughter of the Lin family live in the Jia family forever, right? Therefore, next spring at the latest autumn, the people from the Lin family will definitely send someone to pick up the girl. Last night, the girl told me to tell you to return all the childhood toys she gave you. She will also return the things you gave her. Baoyu listened to Ziwan speaking with such detail and believed it to be true, feeling as if thunder had struck his head. Ziwan had originally wanted to test his reaction, but after not hearing him speak for a long time, she was about to continue asking when Qingwen came looking for Baoyu, saying that the old lady was looking for him. Ziwan had no choice but to stop talking, saying goodbye to Qingwen and return to her room. Qingwen saw Baoyu standing there dazed, his face looking pale, so she quickly took him back to the Yihong courtyard. Shirin, seeing this situation, also panicked, thinking he might have caught a cold and had a fever. Upon closer examination, she noticed Baoyu had a blank stare, with saliva dripping from his mouth, as if he had lost consciousness. He would lie down when told to, sit when told to, and drink tea when given, which was truly frightening. Everyone was frightened by Baoyu. Qingwen told Shiren that before Baoyu became like this, he was with Ziwan. Shiren quickly ran to Xiaoxiang Pavilion and saw Ziwan serving Dayu medicine. She hurriedly asked, "What did you say to Baoyu just now?" "Go and see, something big happened. Explain it to grandmother Jia yourself." Seeing Shirin with an angry face and tears in the corners of her eyes, Dayu couldn't help but worry and asked, "What's wrong?" Shirin calmed down and told the whole situation of Baoyu. Dayu's heart tightened, and with a wow, she actually vomited out the medicine she had just taken, coughing even more severely. Zichuan quickly came up to help Dayu pat her back. Dayu took a breath and hurriedly pushed Zichuan away, saying, "Don't pat me. It's better to strangle me with a rope." Zichuan quickly explained, "I was just joking," but he took it seriously. Dayu hurriedly urged, "What did you say in the end? Go explain to him early. Maybe he will wake up." Zichuan quickly followed Shirin to Yihong Court. At this time, Grandma Jia and Madame Wang had already arrived and, at the sight of Zichuan, they were both so angry that their eyes were spitting fire. Baoyu had been oblivious and unaware all this time. When he saw Zichuan, he burst into tears and everyone finally relaxed. Before Granny Jia could say anything, Baoyu tightly grabbed Zichuan and said, "If you leave, take me with you." Zichuan explained it all, and everyone finally understood that Baoyu thought Dayu was going back to Suzhou, which scared him into this state. Grandmother Jia finally calmed down, shedding tears while scolding Zichuan. "I thought it was some important matter. You are usually clever and quick-witted, knowing that he can be foolish at times. Why would you tease him for no reason?" Everyone was busy comforting each other. Just then, someone came in to report, "Mrs. Lin Jihao has come to visit Baoyu." As a result, Baoyu only heard the word Lin and started to make a scene, thinking that it was someone from Mrs. Lin coming to pick up Dayu. He kept shouting, "Quickly kick them out." Grandmother quickly followed up with Baoyu, saying, "Kick him out, kick him out. There is no one left in the Lin family. No one will come to pick up Sister Lin. You just have to let go of your worries." Baoyu loudly said, "No matter who it is, except for Sister Lin, no one is allowed to have the surname Lin." Grandmother Jia could only coax and say, "Yes, yes, yes, anyone surnamed Lin. All of them must be driven out. In the future, don't let anyone from the Lin family come to the Grandview Garden, and you are not allowed to mention the word Lin again." Everyone nodded repeatedly, wanting to laugh, but not daring to. After the doctor examined Baoyu and prescribed medicine, everyone gradually left. But Baoyu refused to let Zichuan leave and just wanted to hold her back, so that Sister Lin couldn't leave. Zichuan had no choice but to stay. When only Zichuan was left in the room, Baoyu finally asked, "Why are you trying to scare me?" Zijuan said, I was just teasing you, but you took it seriously. Baoyu said, what you said is detailed and vivid. Who could tell it was a joke? Zijuan smiled and said, that was all made up by me. There really is no one left in the Lin family. Even if there were, the old lady couldn't let them take Miss Lin away. Baoyu quickly said, even if my grandma allows it, I won't allow it. Zijuan deliberately asked, really?
You're not just saying that.
You are not young anymore. You are already engaged after marrying. How can you remember anyone? Baoyu exclaimed, who is engaged? Who got engaged? Zija laughed and said, didn't the old lady say she wanted to arrange a marriage for you with Miss Baoqin? Baoyu then smiled and said, they all say I'm foolish, but you are even more foolish than me. It was just a joke. Baoqin's sister has long been promised to the Mei Hanlin family. After a while, Baoyu gritted his teeth and said, I wish I could die right now so I can take out my heart to show you all. Then it would turn into a pile of ashes, and then into a puff of smoke. With a strong wind, it would immediately disperse. That would be a relief. As he spoke, tears fell from his eyes again. Seeing Baoyu's sincere heart, Zijuan said, I was just testing your heart when I said those words. Baoyu cried and said, don't try any more in the future. Just tell Sister Lin for me. As long as we're alive, we'll be together. When we're dead, we'll turn into ashes together. At night, Zijuan conveyed Baoyu's words to Dayu and then confided in her, saying, I have been worrying for several years on behalf of Mississippi. While old lady is still in good health, we must quickly settle the important matter. If one day old lady is no longer around, we will truly be vulnerable to bullying. Miss is a wise person. As the saying goes, easy to obtain 10,000 taels of gold, but hard to find a true confidant. After hearing it, Dayu cried all night again. The Four Great Matriarchs in Dream of the Red Chamber. Yuanyang is the chief maid by the side of grandmother Jia. Shiren is the top maidservant by Baoyu's side. Ping'er is Wang Shifeng's maid-in-waiting and confidant. Zijuan is a maid beside Lin Dayu, who is very important to her. She has a deep sisterly bond with Dayu and is one of the few people who genuinely care about her.